The world is a better place when Aronian plays well. Kasparov said this back in 2015, and honestly, it's hard to find anyone who disagrees. Levon Aronian is one of the most creative artists chess has ever seen. His games are filled with originality, flair, and courage. At his peak, he produced ideas that most elite grandmasters could only dream of. For much of the early 2010s, he was widely considered to be Magnus Carlsen's great rival, the man who could one day take the crown. And people loved him for it, not just for the brilliance on the board, but for his warmth, his humor, his ever-cheerful personality. Aronian was the complete package. He had the talent, the victories, the respect of his peers. Everything was set for him. But here's where the story turns ironic. Despite all his brilliance, Aronian consistently faltered on the one stage that mattered most, the candidates tournament. Again and again and again, when the chance to fight for the world championship was within reach, something went wrong. But why? How could someone so gifted, so universally admired, struggle at the very moment he seemed destined to rise? In this chapter, we'll explore that puzzle, breaking it down through numbers, patterns, and yes, a few speculative theories. Aronian's entry into the elite chess world came relatively late compared to some of his rivals. He only broke into the top 10 in 2005, at the age of 23, a bit older than prodigies like Magnus Carlsen or Fabiano Caruana. But once he arrived, there was no looking back. By 2006, Aronian had already climbed to world number 3 and earned a spot in the 2007 World Championship. Over the next few years, he built an incredible resume. Linares 2006 winner, Chorus Chess Champion in 2007 and 2008, winner of the Grand Prix Series in 2009, three-time Melody Amber Champion, and the World Rapid Champion in 2009. By the late 2000s, Aronian wasn't just one of the world's best. He was in the race for the number 1 spot, shoulder to shoulder with Viswanathan Anand and a rising Magnus Carlsen. In 2010, he crossed the magical 2,800 rating mark, a clear signal that he was ready to rival Magnus in the years ahead. But then came the problem. Aronian's Achilles heel, the candidates tournament. Across his career, he has played in 6 candidates and a round-robin world championship tournament, and in many of them, he entered as one of the favorites. The pattern was frustratingly familiar. Excellent form and strong tournament results leading up to the candidates, followed by an inexplicable collapse once the event began. Why did this keep on happening? Was it psychological pressure? Was it preparation that didn't hold up in the highest stakes matches? Or was it simply a case of bad timing and bad luck? In the next section, we'll break it down into 3 possible reasons. And I'd love to hear what you think could explain Aronian's struggles when it mattered most. Reason number 1. The second half of the candidates tournament. One of the clearest reasons behind Aronian's struggles in the candidates has been his performance in the second half of these tournaments. Let's look at the numbers. Across 5 candidates' appearances, the 2007 World Championship Tournament, plus 2013, 2014, 2016, and 2018, Aronian has played 70 games in total. First half performance, 9 wins, 6 losses, 20 draws. That's a +3 score. Respectable. The kind of performance that keeps you in contention. Second half performance, just 2 wins, 13 losses, and 20 draws. That's a staggering -11 score. The contrast is dramatic. In the early rounds, Aronian is usually right there in the mix. But as soon as the tournament crosses its halfway mark, his results collapse. And this matters a lot. The Candidates is all about the finish. To win it, you don't just need a good start. You need to hold your nerves and perform in the critical final rounds. That's where champions are made, and that's where Aronian has consistently fallen short. All this data suggests one thing. For all his brilliance, Levon may have struggled with handling pressure at decisive moments. When the stakes were at their absolute highest, his nerves betrayed him. Reason number 2, the psychological barrier. Aronian was once widely touted as the natural rival to Magnus Carlsen, the man most likely to challenge for the throne. That reputation became both a blessing and a curse. When he peaked at 2,830 ELO in early 2014, the highest rating in history at that time apart from Carlsen, expectations around him soared. He was suddenly not just a contender, but the favorite. Yet the favorites tag did him more harm than good. Unlike Carlsen, who thrived under pressure, Aronian often struggled with the weight of expectation. In successive candidates tournaments, 2013, 2014, 2016, and 2018, he entered as one of the top seeds, but his results fell far short. What stands out is not that he narrowly missed qualification, but that he collapsed completely, finishing well below the leaders. 2013, London. He was tied for first with Carlsen after 9 rounds, but then lost 3 games in the final stretch, finishing out of contention. 2014, Conti-Mansiysk. Entered as the clear favorite after crossing 2,830, but his campaign was over again in the second half. 2016, Moscow. Solid but uninspired, he never truly challenged the leaders. 2018, Berlin again arrived as a favorite, but lost 4 games and finished joint last, a shocking result for someone of his stature. This recurring pattern reveals that Aronian's biggest opponent was often not his rivals across the board, but the invisible weight of expectation. When he played without pressure, like in Olympiads where he led Armenia to 3 gold medals, he was free, creative, and devastating. But in the candidates, with the eyes of the chess world fixed solely on him, his brilliance dimmed. Aronian himself has admitted that he sometimes tried too hard to live up to the idea of being a challenger, taking unnecessary risks, pushing for wins when calm draws would suffice, and burning out in long tournaments. The result was a mental block that he never truly overcame in the World Championship cycle. Reason number 3, the collapses. If we observe Aronian's history in the candidates closely, a recurring theme emerges: sudden collapses at critical junctures. It wasn't just one tournament or one bad game. It became a pattern across multiple cycles. 2007, Aronian, then young and ambitious, finished with 6 points out of 14. He was outclassed in consistency by Kramnik, Gelfand, and Vichy. 2013, after 9 rounds, Aronian was tied for first with Carlsen. Many thought this was finally his breakthrough moment. Instead, he collapsed in the second half, losing to Kramnik, Chucky, and Carlsen, dropping completely out of contention. 2014, entered as the favorite after hitting his career peak rating. But again, after a decent start, his second half fell apart. Losses to Vichy, Svidler, and Karyakin left him far behind. 2018, perhaps his most shocking performance. He arrived as one of the top contenders, but instead of challenging for first place, he lost 4 games and finished joint last. These collapses underline a fundamental truth about the candidates. To win, you don't need to blow everyone off the board. You need to be stable, calm, and resilient. Players like Karpov, Kramnik, or Karyakin showed that a controlled approach, minimizing risk, drawing when necessary, and saving energy for critical moments, is the real recipe for success. Take 2014 as a clear example. Out of the 8 players, 7 scored at least 3 wins, including the eventual champion Vichy. What set him apart was not winning more games, but the fact that he went through the entire tournament undefeated. His composure and stability proved decisive. Aronian, by contrast, couldn't stop the bleeding once things went wrong. A single loss often snowballed into a crisis of confidence, leading to further defeats. In short, Aronian's candidate story is not defined by his opening preparation or creative brilliance. In those areas, he was second to none. It is defined by his inability to maintain stability under pressure. Time and again, when the moment demanded calm resilience, he faltered with costly collapses. And in a tournament where one collapse can end your world championship dream, Aronian suffered them too often. Aronian is now 43, and it's fair to say he may be past the absolute peak of his powers. His chances of winning the candidates today are certainly slimmer compared to the golden window of the 2010s, when he was consistently among the top 2 or 3 players in the world. Yet if there's one thing his career has shown us, it's that he remains a fighter. He has proven time and again that on his day, he can dominate the strongest fields. His recent triumph at the St. Louis Rapid and Blitz is a reminder that his creativity, tactical sharpness, and flair for dynamic play are still very much alive. Those flashes of brilliance keep the hope alive that perhaps even now he could mount one last charge. The chess world would love nothing more than to see Aronian finally overcome the psychological barriers and collapses that have haunted his candidates' runs. He is not just another elite player, he is a true artist at the board, a creator of games that inspire and excite. And that is why so many fans continue to root for him.